Hello everybody, I'm Maxwell. And
I'm Michelle.
And we're going to be doing vegan, gluten-free, and non-gluten-free enchiladas with corn and wheat. And so let's get into the video.
Okay, so first we're going to take two different types of beans. We're using garbanzo beans and black beans, but you can really use whatever type of beans you have in your house.
Make sure you rinse them. We pre-rinsed ours before starting, but pre-rinse your garbanzos and black beans because that's what gives you the flatulence, the fartiness. But save the garbanzo bean liquid because it works great as aquafaba, so it's great for baking. Stay tuned on a recipe on that I'm going to be using aquafaba in.
Okay, so we're going to add mushrooms to it.
We're adding 350 grams uncooked. We cooked these.
And they have 2 tablespoons of coconut aminos. You can also use soy sauce or tamari. We are just using coconut aminos.
Just coconut aminos is gluten-free, so it works for everybody.
Okay, now we're adding the corn. This is sweet frozen corn that's been microwaved.
It's 350 grams worth.
Okay. Now we're adding the onion. We pre-cooked this again with 1 tablespoon of coconut aminos.
And
it is 1 large onion.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, now for the leafy greens.
We have spinach on the top and kale on the bottom, guys. So for the spinach, we have it at 120 grams. And then for the kale, we have it for 90 grams. But if you want, you can do just one of the kale or spinach or a combination thereof. Just depending on what you like. We generally go with all kale, but we're running a bit low on kale. So spinach is an excellent substitution.
Okay. Now we have 1 tablespoon of crushed garlic. Okay. Next, we have 1 cup of salsa.
Actually, one tablespoon of garlic is 55 grams. So for you metric folks, 55 grams.
Okay. We have 1 cup of salsa also. We chose mild, but you can really choose whatever one you're interested in. Also, we have mild in the house. So that is...
And this is 225 grams of salsa. And it also works depending on how spicy you like it. We generally go with a mild salsa so it doesn't overpower the other ingredients.
Okay, so the spices. We have 1/4 of a teaspoon of paprika.
And the paprika is 1/4 of a teaspoon.
Okay, now we have 1 teaspoon. We have 1/4 of a teaspoon of paprika. We have 1 teaspoon of chili powder. And we have 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. Okay. And now let's mix this all up. You can also pre-wilt your greens, but personally I like my greens to be wilted in the oven so they're not overcooked. And you can also add tofu to this. It's just an option.
How much tofu would you generally add to it then?
I would normally do 1 package, and I would stir fry it with a little coconut aminos beforehand. but we decided to do mushrooms this time.
So one package, how big is the block of tofu then?
So just like a regular store box of tofu, I would say about 12 ounces. I normally do the Trader Joe's extra form. If you have Trader Joe's in your areas or any of your health food stores, just do your usual package of tofu. Okay.
Now that it's all stirred up and incorporated, we have forks to taste it. We're tasting it to see if it needs any additional seasoning of the enchilada sauce.
So I like mine enchilada mix to be a little saucier. I'll give you guys a picture. So it's a little dry. I like mine to be a little bit more saucy. And so I'm going to put in a little bit of this. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
5 tablespoons?
Yes.
5 tablespoons of enchilada sauce.
Because you can see it's a little bit saucier now.
And if it's a little too spicy, you can always add some nutritional yeast, or what would be another good substitute to make it less spicy?
You can do a little vegan cheese, other than it does have a little oil to it, or different types of.
I was thinking maybe add some more beans or sweet potato.
If you add other stuff to balance out the spiciness, is like another good option. Vegan cheese is an alternative to nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is a lower fat option.
And it is more of a whole plant food. Nutritional yeast has lots of your B complex vitamins. So now we got everything all mixed up, and
so we're going to just.
No, my sister's gonna take those into the other room.
I'll see you back in a moment. Okay, so I'm back, and we're going to mix this up and put it in tortilla shells. So, this is just like a regular can of enchilada sauce. You can choose whatever one you like to use the most. We just used the one we had in the house. So, we have flour tortillas. Also, just use your favorite.
Make sure that they're vegan. Not all flour tortillas are vegan. A lot of times they'll put lard or other things like that in it. But you can use a vegan checking app like Is It Vegan or something like that. That would be great to download onto your phone as a quick tip to check when you're at the grocery store if something is vegan. It makes it super easy.
Okay, so I'm putting 2 good spoonfuls of the mix.
How about I move the tortillas out of here? Yeah. This way if you spill extra or you have a rip, it doesn't fall onto the extra tortillas. If you decide you want to make more tortillas or less, you can save those for later if you don't end up using all of them.
So we're just going to roll each tortilla.
The first couple are the most difficult to stay in. So if you have somebody to help you, or if you get it, it'll stay, but it's a good idea to make sure it doesn't unravel, because the first one, it's kind of like taking the first slice out of something. It's the most difficult to take it out and the most difficult to put it in when you're first starting. Once you got going for a while, it gets pretty easy to keep them wrapped. Make sure you wrap them pretty tightly, also not having big air pockets, because then that part of the tortilla will cook quicker than the other parts. And also having a tight corn tortilla makes it so that you have a even dispersal and cooking time. And so you don't get too much or too little enchilada sauce on the corn tortilla. and it holds together when you take it out.
Okay. And so you can see about how much I put into each one.
So would you say that's about 2.5 cups?
So I'm using 2 scoopers, and I would say it's probably around 1.5 to maybe 2 cups. But the greens take up a lot of bulk.
Yeah, so when you first start, the greens take up a lot of bulk. So it looks like a lot of ingredients, but it really isn't as much as you would think. Because the greens, we pre-wilted most of the mushrooms and things like that. Mushrooms take up a lot of room, so if you pre-cook them in advance, then you don't have the shrinkage problem or the liquid problem of it being really liquidy.
And then it gives you an opportunity to pre-season your mushrooms and onions.
With coconut aminos, we generally avoid putting salt on things because there's much better ways of seasoning things than just adding salt straight to it. You can add miso or coconut aminos or other things like that. They'll add much more depth of flavor and umami.
Okay, so I'm going to switch over to
corn tortillas.
Flour. I'm going into corn. My mom's gluten-free, so we're going to do a mix. And if y'all need to just do one or the other, that's like totally up to you.
You can totally do one or just the other. These are a little small for what we would generally use them for, but I'll hold this right here while you're doing that. But stay tuned for a video on how to make homemade vegan corn tortillas from scratch. Now I'm going to put my other finger right here. Another trick you could do is use a spoon to hold it in place, one side against the dish and then the other side of the spoon against the corn tortilla, and then just slide it over each time you use it. But it's very helpful if you have a second person that can help you with the placement of the corn tortillas. Corn tortillas have a tendency to be a little bit more brittle than wheat tortillas because of the lower gluten structure in it. Because it's not wheat, doesn't have as much gluten structure. But these are also great as like meal prep, because when you can make a whole bunch and they stay in the refrigerator for a pretty good while. How long would you generally say they stay in the fridge for?
So you can have them up to like 4 days, I would say at max. But they never last in our house because we have 4 people and they're fantastic. So.
And it's one tray of enchiladas, and so if we have a couple meals, we'll generally end up having one for dinner and then probably some for the next day for lunch and then snack or something like that.
Okay, so I'm going to just pop these things into the kitchen and I'll see you in a moment.
Don't forget to check out my other videos I have posted on the channel. I have lots of gluten-free and vegan content and a lot more coming.
Okay, so we're going to just...
And now one of the final steps is you just take a little of the enchilada sauce and drizzle it over the top.
So that's 1 tablespoon.
2 tablespoons.
2 tablespoons.
And then 3 tablespoons. If you, and then...
This is going to be about 1 tablespoon. Also.
And then about 1 more tablespoon. And if you want, you can sprinkle a little nutritional yeast on it. I'll be right back.
So I thought I would give you guys a look. So we're going to preheat the oven to 325 degrees. It's going to cook for 25 minutes. You are going to need to do the tin foil for the first 15 minutes. And then you're going to take tin foil off after 10 minutes. And then you're going to put it back in the oven. And then when it's done, it should be golden brown, because you're gonna cook it but you don't have to burn the tortillas or the filling. And then after you pull it out, you need to let it sit for a good 10-15 minutes so you don't burn yourself. And then use spatulas and serve it up to family members. Serving options for toppings are avocados, cheese, you can get some vegan sour cream, and parsley.
So, we don't have any nutritional needs, but Michelle just gave some excellent alternatives for on top. And so now we're gonna put the aluminum. Okay.
But the aluminum foil is going on, and we're gonna pop this in the oven, and I'll see you in a little bit.
Hello, everybody. We're all back. We're back, and the enchiladas are all done. And
I'm going to do a little snipping of the parsley and scallion.
An optional extra is you can snip some parsley or scallion on top of it. Some fresh parsley or scallion, that is.
Okay, and then a little scallion.
And now we're gonna taste test some of the filling for you guys. The outside is amazing, nice and crispy and very flavorful. We already know that. But it's a little hot since it just came out of the oven.
But remember your cooling temps. We just want to give you a quick show before we all sit down as a family to have a bite.
Have dinner together. So the enchilada sauce gives it some spice and some extra pizzazz and heat and some Mexican influence. The mushrooms give it the meaty toothfulness, and the beans give it some of the creaminess, but also contribute to a secondary level of toothfulness. All these things are differentiating contrasts of textures and flavors. We have all sorts of contrasts, everywhere from crispy to semi-crispy to soft to sweet to a little spicy to a little sour to umami. And a lot of times we'll sprinkle nutritional yeast over top on our individual plates.
So my first impression was that it was really good. I really enjoyed the mushroom because it was umami, and then it had a great truthfulness and texture, and then the beans were creamy, and then the enchilada sauce was a little bit spicy, and then the corn was sweet, and then the spinach and kale were more a bit wilted, so they had a great texture in the mouth.
So that's everything. I'm Maxwell. This is Michelle. This is Maxwell Bates channel. We'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And ring the little bell icon so you don't miss any future videos, and leave your comments down below. Have a nice day. Bye.